Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you guys for joining me for another edition of Sabbath with Soul. Um, Tonight, I just wanted to kind of bring a little bit of a different spin on the topics. It's going to be a little different than what we normally talk about on the Shabbat, where we normally would be doing our Salty Psalm series. We're going to try to take a look at a little special topic tonight, okay? Um, I want to clue y'all in on a little bit of how some of us um, watch the news, okay? Um, some of us that um, know how to kind of like make connections, see rituals in what we're looking at. And so tonight, I kind of just want to give y'all uh, just like an inside scoop on how you can see and start to recognize the ritualistic things that's going on. Um, so first we're gonna go ahead and pray, and we're gonna say Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vayed. And that is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be the name of his glorious majesty, forever and ever. Amen. Y'all give me a second because I'm not even sure that y'all was hearing me super clear. Yep, I think y'all are probably hearing me better right now. So anyway, this video, this live tonight is dedicated to the big homie Ken, um, because he's somebody that I know that we could talk about this kind of stuff all day long. And sometimes when you're a person that sees these things and makes these connections, it really really helps when you know that you're not alone, because sometimes you see you get when once you kind of are able to see these things and make these connections, then it starts coming at you really fast and you see the connections in everything you see. And so sometimes you get to start thinking like, am I the only one that sees this stuff? But no, you're not. There's a lot of people that can see these things. So we're gonna walk through an example of a couple of stories. The first one just is so easy to see. You guys know that I allude to certain organizations, certain people, certain entities when we're talking, and we have a natural enemy in society. We have a society within the society that's very interested in angles. They're very interested in degrees. Um, and the 33rd degree is one that they're very, very, very interested in. And you guys know um, what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, it rhymes with Illuminati. Okay. So just in terms of, things that maybe on the face of it, it looks normal. But once you start kind of really seeing things. Okay, so for instance, the first story that I was going to start out with is about Takeoff, and you guys know that I talked about it. I believe his death was a sacrifice on Halloween. He's the third member party of the Migos. Um he had a song called My Last Memory. Okay, so you're sitting here rapping a song about your last memories before you died, and then Halloween, you get gunned down, you're 33, and then your killer is arrested and your killer is 33. Okay, so sometimes when you're able to read those things, you look at it like, wow, Takeoff, he got sacrificed. That's basically what it is. And like they double down and they make sure, like, if you can read it, they make sure that you can see the connections. If you can't read it, they rejoice in that the greater number of people cannot read the situations, and therefore they take it as just a regular random thing that's happening. But once you learn how to read and see and calculate, you realize that every single thing that you're watching is an orchestrated show. We are in the world and we are not of the world, because the world is a calculated show meant to distract you. And while the distractions are going on, the rituals are happening, and they are real and they have real world consequences. Okay. So that one, that's just that's a layup. Takeoff dying at 33. Killer is 33, dying on October 30th. And being that I just opened my iPad to start pulling sources, my iPad is on 33%. And so let's say, for instance, I had a question about whether or not I was supposed to do this live tonight. Okay, so when you can see the connections, this is how it worked. Let's say I had a question in my mind about, dang God, should I really open up and let these people know how I see connections? They might start saying I'm crazy, right? But no, I know people that read these situations the same way I do. Okay, and so if I had a doubt about whether or not I was supposed to talk about this tonight, when I just pulled up my iPad to talk about the 33 connection between Takeoff and his killer, and saw my iPad on 33%, that's my confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. Okay. So once you learn how to see these things, you live your life in such a way that your path gets lit before you. God shows you certain things. Okay. So some of these things can be learned. Maybe I'm showing you guys this tonight so that you can understand, and when you watch the news and know, and you can see these connections. So maybe there's somebody that needs to hear this tonight. If not on the live, then maybe on the replay. And shout out to you when you do. Shout out to you when you listen. Shout out to you when the Lord moves on your behalf, and you realize, oh wow, yeah, I'm really glad she talked about this, because I really was wondering if I'm going crazy. Okay, so like I said, this is normally not content for this channel. And if the Lord says so, maybe there'll be another whole channel about this kind of stuff. But as we tell you guys, the content creators only know if you are interested in a topic if you leave a comment. Okay, so as you saw in the title, we're gonna look at the Brittney Griner situation, and I'm gonna show y'all how my mind instantly calculated this news about the prisoner exchange. Okay, so Brittney Griner, as you guys know, is the WNBA basketball player that was arrested and was detained in Russia. I think they even ended up moving her to a penal colony here in the last part of her sentence. And she actually traveled to Russia, and she had she was leaving the country, and she had like some vape pens, some hashish in her luggage. Okay. Now in Russia, that gets you 10 years of prison. Okay, now, obviously, I mean, I'm not even gonna front. Sometimes I might travel, and I might not even realize that there's something in my suitcase, right? So that's a point I'm not even gonna say nothing on. That's something that it really could have happened. Okay. So I'm not here to really dig into that part. The part that is really telling, and what I deem to be ritualistic, is the exchange. Okay. So let's run the thread. Russia is in a war with Ukraine. Okay. If you've been following the war, Ukraine, they're not going out like no suckers. Okay. There was a report just a few days ago that Russia is experiencing bombing that's way more, further into their interior than they anticipated. Okay. So Ukraine they never been no punks. If you just learning about Ukraine, one thing about Ukrainians, they have a long history of very, very strong resistance. And they have not just been sitting back, not expecting Russia to attack them one day. They are smaller than Russia, but the Ukrainians are not punks. So the Ukrainians are giving Russia a run for their money currently. Okay. Now, follow the thread. Russia snatches up Brittney Grimes. Okay. They put her in Brittney Griner. I don't mean to call her grimy. I ain't saying that. Maybe I'm just thinking about Rick Grimes' Walking Dead, because all these are Walking Dead. Okay. They snatch up Brittney Griner, an American, female WNBA superstar, and I am going to say for the record, homosexual woman, okay, that's married to a woman. They snatch her up. So already, right now in Russia, they've already signed anti-homosexual legislature into law, okay, as well as several other countries. The U.S. just signed pro-homosexuality laws into existence, okay? That's just a setup for the story I'm telling you. Look at the world stage. Many big countries are signing anti-homosexual legislature while the U.S. is signing pro-homosexual legislature, okay? The U.S. currently also has itself embroiled in abortion melee, and it's just all kinds of things are going on here in the States, right? So Brittney is incarcerated over in Russia. Now it comes time to make an exchange, okay? Who is Brittney Griner exchanged for? Who does Russia want back? Russia exchanges Brittney Griner for a man known as the Merchant of Death, okay? His name is Victor Bout, a Russian arms dealer, and his legit nickname is the Merchant of Death. And what was he indicted on? What was he convicted guilty of? He was convicted guilty of 4 crimes, but one was that he conspired to kill American citizens, okay? His whole thing was he ran arms and he ran guns to anybody that could buy them. And his whole, his mentality was he hoped that every bullet, every gun he sells kills as many Americans as possible, okay? So when you look at it ritualistically, if what we are named is what we are, Russia sent back a homosexual woman to a pro-homosexual country in exchange for a Russian who is known as the Merchant of Death. Do you see the frequencies that each country wanted to exchange? You see the frequency that each country wanted to exchange? Russia needs to bump up their death rate. They need, so this man is responsible for killing so many people. He has so much blood on his hands that he's so powerful. They want him back on Russian soil. So the Americans really legit released this man back to Russia in exchange for Brittney Griner. Because that frequency, Brittney Griner's frequency, is what's rising in America. Okay? Now, your lifestyle, your business, that's between you and God. You flipping the coin. That's between you and Yah. That don't have nothing to do with me. Hate the sin, love the sinner. I'm not calling that judgment. That's not for me to call. It's up to me to recognize, though. So that's just a small example of how you can see that these frequencies are attached to people. These countries are making move. Okay, now you see Harry and Meghan. They just released their tell-all on Netflix. The Queen is dead. So that whole House of Windsor is crumbling. That whole house of slavery is crumbling because the curse is broken and we are waking up. So her death-dealing spirit colonizing, death-dealing spirit. So this is just another example. I'm gonna show y'all. Her colonizing, death-dealing spirit has departed from this realm. Okay, Charles, who's even expecting him to be able to be a king? I mean, not me, because I don't even respect anything about his legacy. Okay, from even back in the Diana days. Okay, I remember the day when they got married and it was all over the TV. I don't even know if they're going to be able to command the same authority, because that old entity that just left, she was the last one, I think, that is God is even going to allow to have to hold that kind of colonizing demonic sway over the lands of the natural people of the world. Okay, so I don't believe that Charles is going to be able to maintain that kind of death grip that the Elizabeth entity was able to hold. Okay, now couple that with the fact that Harry goes and marries a black woman. I don't care what they say, if she's a thought, if she's wheeling, if she's dealing, if she's scheming, if she's conniving, if she's a failed actress. I don't really care, because it's not about her, it's about her frequency. She's a black female married into the House of Windsor. Now they have a black child, so 2 black children. Okay, right there, you are now diffusing that death-dealing bloodline with blood of the natural people of the earth. Okay, so it's not about Meghan, it's about the frequency that it brings. And now that Meghan and Harry are dropping this Netflix special where they're supposedly dropping another bombs, just like they did with Oprah, it's chipping away at the frequency of the colonizers over in England. So when this stuff just happens, I don't look at it just as gossip, like, ooh, they telling all the business. I'm looking at it like, ooh, they knocking down the frequency over there. Okay, regardless of if they doing it so they can make money, regardless of why they doing it, they are coming against the colonizing frequency. And so when you kind of start looking at it from a meta standpoint, a lot of these things, they start meaning a little bit more when you're listening to the news, when you're watching the news. So if this helped and it made any difference, or you thought that you was the only one that looked at it that way, or you thinking, wow, like I didn't even think of it like that, do your girl a favor, leave a comment, and then I don't even be saying this, and they say you got to say it at the end of every video if you're trying to grow. But hey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, and then remember what I say, ego's my trip, but humble never stumbles. Okay, so like I told y'all on Tuesday, your girl is going through the wine press, but I am making decisions, recognizing patterns, and doing a good little overhaul here. So another thing I want to leave y'all with, please stop visiting the prophets with lying vanities. The time of you being able to manipulate the prophets with lying vanities is over. That goes for friends, that goes for families. All the masks are off, and we are no longer responding to the bull crap, and I know that any person that the Lord has anointed or deems themselves a prophet can comment in the comment section and testify. We're done. Okay, we're moving on with what Yah has for us to do. We got nothing more to say other than thus saith the Lord. Because like the time of manipulation and holding us back and all of that, it's just over with. The thing about it is, we see you, and it's like, it's all right. It's all right, because Yah's gonna make it all right. So with that being said, your girl is gonna be out. Y'all bless up yourselves. Be good. Have a wonderful week in the Lord. And I'm gonna see y'all on Tuesday with whatever y'all say. If you want to go off script, I'm all right with it. But y'all pray for me that the decisions that I made will settle good here in this realm, and may it be pleasing to the Lord as I seek to chase after humility and walking after his way. And I pray that you guys do the same. With that being said, your girl is out. 1